What's up? This is Trey T, and today I'm going to talk about a life lesson. The life lesson that I'm going to talk about today is the importance of security. The dictionary defines security as freedom from danger, risk, etc., etc., freedom from care, anxiety, or doubt, well founded confidence, something that secures or makes safe. The main thing about security is we all rely on security in different aspects and different situations in our everyday lives. You may not even think about it. It just comes naturally that you're more comfortable around things that you are familiar with. It's a stability thing. We all need stability in our lives. Without stability, people can go into a panic mode. That's when anxiety kicks in, when you don't have stability in certain situations. Take little kids for an example. Little kids can be around other family members almost all the time. But the time that they are around their mother and father is probably not the same time they're around their grandma and grandpa, or their aunt and their uncle, or their cousins. So they more than likely, if they spend more time with their mother and father, even though the other family members know them, if the mom and the dad were to go on like vacation or something and leave their child with the aunt and the uncle or the grandma and grandpa, even though they're familiar with the grandma and grandpa, they will sometimes, a lot of times, they go into a panic mode, a frenzy mode. Oh, I want my mommy, I want my dad. Because that's what they're comfortable with. That's their security blanket, basically. The mom and the dad. Like I said, even though they know the grandparents, they see the grandparents all the time, but without being able to see their mom and their dad, they feel lost. They not secure. They, like I said, security is stability. You need stability. That's why little kids, you drop your kids off at daycare and all that, and they oh, where my mommy, where my daddy? Like, that's what it is. Especially like with little kids, they need security in their lives, things that they're comfortable with, things that they're more familiar with. They need that to keep them going. It may take them a while to get used to to get used to being around other family members and other people. The thing is, it's not even just about people. You see it with animals too. If you've probably seen videos, or you may have seen it in person, of like a lost dog or a little puppy or kittens or something, and like someone picks them up and the dog is afraid to come to her because that dog, you don't know what that dog has been through. That dog may have wandered miles from a place with no protection, no mother, no father with it, and it don't know better to, even though you're trying to help the dog and save the dog and protect it, it doesn't know that, because it hasn't really had that in its life. Especially if it's a puppy, they don't know what it's like to be, they don't know what it's like to have their security, to have their protection. That's why go on YouTube and look at a whole bunch of those, like abandoned puppies being found or lost puppies being found, and like you see the people be recording, and the dog is so scared that they're shaking, they don't even want to come next to the person, even though the person like tries to like tries to call, come here puppy, and all that. Or they might put food on the ground and try to get the dog to come to them, and the dog is just so frightened and so terrified that it doesn't even come to the person. And like eventually the person does get control of the dog and is able to get the dog, take the dog with him, take him home, and nurture him to where, okay, now the dog is in a safe place. And now the dog, over time, the dog gets more and more comfortable, and now he's running around, she's running around, it's running around playing and stuff like that. That's security. That's what security is. You see it a lot in and children who grew up in foster care, or children who lost their parents or their grandparents or something, and they were raised by someone else, they move from place to place. Like, when you not in a stable place, getting to know people, like, just imagine that you're 4 or 5 years old, someone adopts you, and you go live with them, and you live with them for about 3 months. Things don't work out. They send you back to the adoption, the foster home or the adoption agency or whatever. And then another couple months go by, someone else adopts you, brings you into their house. It doesn't work out. You go right back to foster care. And then the cycle just continues and continues and continues. Like, that it dwells within a child. Like, for one, they're feeling like no one wants them. And like, everybody wants to be needed. Like, even though people might not say that, like, you may think you need yourself, but that's a lonely life, to just want nobody around you and just want to be alone. That's a lonely life. So the fact that a lot of them didn't have that stability in growing up in one home for multiple years and making friends and eating family dinners and going out to restaurants or going out to events, skating or bowling or playing baseball or basketball or soccer or football and going to the movies and stuff, like going to a park, stuff like that. If they didn't grow up around that, that's why not all, but a lot of them have those tendencies to where they want to shy away, or they suffer from anger issues, or they're sad all the time. It's because a lot of them did not have that stability. It's the same way in like relationships. If a person doesn't feel loved in a relationship, that person may like start to blame themselves and wonder, like, what could I do better to make, like, first off, it is not up to you to try to make somebody love you. If that person cannot love you, if you know you're a good person and you aren't doing anything wrong and that person can't love you for who you are, it may be time for you to leave that person and find someone else. I'm not trying to give advice. I'm just saying, if they can't love you for who you are, it may be time for you to go. People who go through abusive relationships, they feel they don't have that security, and they end up being insecure for the next person if they get in another relationship because of what happened to them in that previous relationship. Like, they may have been verbally abused, they may have been physically abused, they may have been mentally abused, emotionally abused. That's why, like, and the person that abused them probably was abused themselves. That's why they say hurt people. It should not be like that. Just because someone did something to you does not mean you continue the cycle and do it to someone else. If you went through sexual assault, or you witnessed sexual assault as a kid, you saw your mother sexually assaulted, your father beat up your mother, and you thought that was the norm. So when you got older, you decided to do the same thing. No, that's not how that should be. You should want to be better than your father. Or if your mother was going around just sleeping with a bunch of dudes, and you saw that, you got different dudes in your household growing up. So when you get older, you start doing the same thing, thinking it's the norm. No, it's not the norm. You should want to be better than your mother and father. Every parent should want their child to have it better than them. You should want your child to be more successful than you. To show you that I did a good job raising you based off what you accomplished in life. I did everything in my life to make sure that your life would be better. That's what every parent should strive for. You work so your children know how to work, and that they don't have to work to where they struggling. Like that's you do it for your children. It's all about, and that's all I said, it's security. If you don't have anybody that you feel you can depend on, you may not feel like you can do it, like you can make it and get through life. Everybody needs that security. You see the same thing in like sports too. Like you can have a football team have a different head coach every single year. How do you expect that team to succeed without stability at the top position at the head coach? You can't just bring in a new person every single year and thinking that team gonna have success. You can't keep trading and I'm not trading, but drafting the same position every single year. Like in the NFL, you drafting a quarterback every year and you still haven't got it right. Like, you need stability. It don't matter what you are in life, you need stability. So I implore everyone to go out there and find someone or something that makes you feel secure, that makes you feel comfortable with your life. Because I want everybody to live a long and happy and prosperous life. I want everybody to be successful. I don't want you being depressed and stuff. I want you to find something or someone that's gonna make you feel comfortable to where you're not depressed. I don't want to hear about you killing yourself because you were depressed or because you lost someone and you don't think you had anyone to go to. No, I do not want anyone to kill themselves. That is never the answer. I don't ever want to see someone in a situation where they were so down and so depressed, so and so happened and that's why they got down. I don't want to see that. I would rather hear about your problems than hear about your eulogy. I don't want to have to read your obituary saying that, oh yeah, so and so was a good person and this is what they accomplished in life. I don't need that. If I see that, I want it to be when you old at 80 something, 90 something, 100 years old. That's when I want to read your obituary. I don't want to read it when you 17 years old. I don't want to read it when you 12 years old. Suicide is never the answer. It's always good to seek help, seek counseling. If you need help, you can call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255, or you can dial 988, or you can text the word GO to 741-741. They have people that you can talk to that can talk you through this and help you with what you have going on. Suicide is never the answer. We want you to live. We don't want anybody killing themselves, harming themselves, cutting themselves, anything. If you ever feel that you're at that point, please call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline. It's one earth. We all have to live together. So let's treat each other with respect and compassion. Thank you for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel, like and comment. More videos coming soon. Trey T out. Peace.